The Northwest Provincial Government yesterday concluded the 2 days Provincial EXCO Planning Lekgotla, which was held at Rustenburg Orion Safari Hotel. It was clearly expressed at the Lekgotla that the people of the province wants nothing but service delivery, less talk, solutions, implementations with clear time frames. The Lekgotla took place few days before the State of the Province address, which will be delivered by Premier Bushi Mahape on Friday. We spoke to the provincial leader of government business, Nonoma Lui, who is also the MEC for the Department of Cooperative Governance, Human Settlement and Traditional Affairs about some of the key outcomes of the Lekgotla. The MEC also reacted on the negative attitude that the people of the province has on government and local leaders when it comes to service delivery.
We have acknowledged we have developed important and key policies as this government. But implementation has been lacking. We then decided this year what we'll need to do is not to repeat those policies, those pronouncements which were made before, is to review those policies and then say whether we're able to implement those policies. If we're not able to implement those policies, what were the challenges? And once we have identified what were the challenges, we must then develop an implementation plan, which will be very clear that between now and the next financial year, what is it that we are going to do, and include in that implementation plan clear timeframes and hold individuals, officials, MECs and everybody accountable if they fail to implement what we would have decided upon. But what is going to happen from here, the Premier will then encapsulate some of the decisions taken here into his State of the Province address in order for us to indicate to the general public what is it that we are going to do. Now, one of the key decisions is on infrastructure. We have said we need to pay more focus on our infrastructure because one, our infrastructure in the Northwest is aging and we need to replace that aging infrastructure. The other infrastructure that we have is it does not respond to current developments in the province. Our townships are growing, our towns are growing and so on, but we still have small water pipes and so on. So you need to change those in order for us to be able to provide our people with water and so on. One of the things that we spoke about is vandalism. Our people out there are vandalizing critical infrastructure in the province, but it is not only isolated to the province, but also in the country. We said it will be important for us to secure our own infrastructure. Thirdly, we said, issues of electricity, they affect everybody. Whilst the President has spoken about this, whilst the Minister now is going to speak about it as to what is going to be interventions and so on, we have taken a conscious decision as a province that we must also invest on alternative energy, particularly your rooftop solars. Secondly, ensuring that in our water treatment plants we have solar and so on. When there is load shedding, those water, what do you call them? Water pumps, they are still able to pump and so on, and they fill up those reservoirs. So if you don't do that, our people are still going to march and so on. So we are attending to those. We have said the Minister of Water and Sanitation was in the province for 2 days. And out of that meeting, we established a steering committee, we established a technical team to attend to issues of water in the province. We have now adopted what was presented by the technical committee to the steering committee as to the interventions that we need to do. But we also said we need to build a capable state. Now, building a capable state, it means you need to have people who have the skills, people who have got relevant academic qualifications and so on. If you go to a number of our municipalities, many of senior positions are vacant. We have said those positions must be filled before the end of this financial year. But secondly, where they are filled, we must then take a process of doing a skills audit. So we are going to start immediately with the skills audit. Where we don't have the skills and so on, we'll then be able to move people. We'll then be able to say to you, you have the qualifications and so on, but you don't have the skill. But before we can shift you, let's start with a process of building capacity. And when we are done with capacity building and so on, we can then begin to move or shift people to areas where they can excel and so on. So those are some of the decisions that we took in this Lekgotla. First, we must accept that our people have lost confidence, not only in government but in all the politicians, irrespective of their political affiliation, because they have a belief. Since we came into power in 1994, we have done little. And this is informed, amongst others, by the negative reporting. Because more often than not, our media in South Africa, they are just interested in reporting negative things. They don't report positive things. Whilst there are challenges, but we have achieved a lot. But we are saying there's still more that needs to be done. Now, out of this Lekgotla, that's why we are saying we are now developing an implementation plan, which is going to attend to all the challenges that are faced by our people, whether it's issues of water, issues of load shedding, issues of bad roads as it relates to potholes, issues of employment for young people and so on. We have attended to all those things, but we have not done enough, so there's still a lot that needs to be done.
We also spoke to some of the participants who reacted to the decisions and resolutions taken at the Lekgotla. Khumalo Molefe is the chairperson of the South African Local Government Association, SALGA, in the Northwest Province. He says more resources must be directed to local government to deal with many service delivery challenges and lack of public confidence in local leaders.
No, ke nnete gore baagi ba lla thata ka ditirelo mme ga ba lla ka masepala ba tshwanetse ba lle ka masepala ka gore masepala ke yona o gaufi le batho ba ga se gantsi baagi ba lla ka national departments or national governments le provincial government. So go matshwanedi gore national government le provincial government di suteletse di diriswa, di suteletse katiso, di suteletse le madi kwa di masepaleng. Bontsi ba di masepala tsa rona ga o re wa diela tlhoko o fitlhela e le gore ga di na madi a go isa ditirelo kwa bathong di a kolota jalo le jalo. Selo se sengwe se se kgoreletsang lebelo la ditirelo go kwa bathong ke go tlhoka bokgoni le ditlhokego, qualifications, experience and expertise, especially at senior management level. Ha re tsena mo pusong ga jana re tsere tshwetso ya gore re tswale matlo re itite dihuba re batle batsamaisi ba ba na le bokgoni ba na le ditlhokego le dithutego le maitemogelo a tlhokegang. Ka jalo re tlhoka madi mo di masepaleng. Selo sa ntlha. Selo sa bobedi, re tshwantse re thape batho ba ba nang le bokgoni. Go nnile sebaka mo e leng gore di masepala go ne go thapiwa fela mme go sa thapi batho ba ba nang le bokgoni. Selo se sa re ama gona jaanong bogolo thata rona ba e leng gona re tsena mo pusong kgwedi di le 13 tse di fetileng fela re ikemiseditse rra go tswella go direla baga rona ka botshepegi le boikanyego.
Dr. Kenneth Kaunda is one of the districts in the province that is experiencing a lot of challenges relating to service delivery with a declining economy. District Mayor Nikiwe Nam reflects on the challenges and the plans they had put forward to deal with these challenges.
I think there's clarity from the Lekgotla that the provincial budget is depressed. It will not take us to the next level of economic development in our province. And we also acknowledge that we have not done enough to coordinate all potential economic players in our province, whether at a district level or at a province level. We meet, we don't consolidate. Now we agreed as the Lekgotla that we need an economic Lekgotla amongst ourselves, proper identification of external players that ought to come and give us a sense, because there are various models and countries that we've benchmarked. We do have the necessary raw material. We can redefine the space as a province so that we can repurpose and reposition ourselves as a province. The third element that came sharply was an instruction and actually support to the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality, acknowledgement of the district having played a major role in providing for the economy of this country through its gold activities. Now that they are on the decline, the district is more depressed than any other thing. lack of employment, frustrated and emotional people, major dolomitic areas, major sinkholes in the area, a backlog in infrastructure development. And I think that the Lekgotla was saying, we recognize the efforts that the district is doing, but it need not to be an effort of the district. We ought to tap from the resources that are sitting in the office of the presidency. Because the presidency, we are made aware that 10, 15 years ago, they took a resolution that they will not allow previously mining towns to be ghost towns. And if we put together a proper presentation, they will be in a position to give us a sense. So in the district, we've got 5 key areas, tourism being one of them, agriculture being our major force that we can explore. Manufacturing plays a very critical role in our district because we've got the mining dumps that whose material can be turned into raw material for the development and production of your paving brick. We've got terrible roads in Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. All municipalities, all local municipalities with the district, in our last meeting, we agreed that district lead the process of ensuring that the 1,900 kilometers of roads needs to be rehabilitated. The 1,300 kilometers of roads that have never been built is built. And our way is that all internal roads, all roads that needs to be fixed. We're wasting money if we were to close potholes because the condition and the erosion of the environment, potholes will never close. We need to then begin to move towards a more sustainable way, which is paving our roads and paving them with a much bigger, capacity, centimeter capacity of a paving brick so that they are sustainable and the skill remains in our community. That's much labor-intensive project that currently we're dealing with in the district, and we've knocked in many doors. The project is submitted to ESA for funding. The project has been submitted to various ministries so that they can consider and look into what we can do. We believe that it can galvanize and massify employment, but also prepare, because once you have roads that are functional, both for social and economic activities, you are likely to motivate your taxi industry, your local small businesses, because for now, they redirect their money to continuously fix their cars. Their limited capital budget in terms of their investment is redirected by poor conditions of enabling facilities that they require. So all of these things we agreed as a district with local mayors that the district must prioritize them as part of ensuring that we repurpose and we position the district.
Moses Kotane is one of the local municipalities that is characterized by service delivery challenges in the province. The executive mayor of this municipality, Councillor Nketung Kotswe.
Let me first appreciate what the Lekgotla did for us. Mostly I appreciate the office of the presidency, Dr. Ramokgopa, bulk infrastructure. That bulk infrastructure province ya rona e a dirisana le national o tlile a re thusa a re gakolla go dilo tse tharo tse tota re di tlhokang thata re batlang gore re nne le tsone mo dimasepaleng tsotlhe ke ditsela ke metsi ke motlakase o ka dinako tse dingwe ngowa ra bona gore go diragala mare ka tlhaloso re letse re ifilwe maabane e tlhageletseng ka Dr. Ramokgopa le mo sa gore Lekgotla le tota re letse re serious le ga le ile go bokhutlong mo tsatsing la gompieno mare nnete fela ke gore le tlile go addressa ditlhokego tsa baagi ga ra tlela fa gore re tlhole re nnetse go bua sekgo re tletse fa go thusana gore baagi ba rona ba selegae ba metse ya rona yotlhe seng go nna ke leng teng fela re ka ba thusa jang go netefatsa gore di-service di ya ko bathong.
At a provincial level, various rural communities continue to raise concerns about scholar transport in the province. The MEC for the Department of Education, Viola Mutsumi, who has few months in office since her appointment in December, is happy that the matter was raised sharply with a plan in place receiving the necessary attention.
Go na le tshwetso e tserweng mo lekgotleng le ne re le tshwere gompieno le fellang gompieno to say that we must review the issue of rationalization of schools because it remains a problem. Re believe gore it was not handled properly because go na le a challenge whereby dikolo di a tswalwa. Dikolo tse di tswalwang tseo you find gore di mo gare ga metse bana ba tsewa ba ntshiwa from those particular schools ba isiwa go dikolong tse leng gore di ko di-township areas, and then e force the government gore ba provide scholar transport for those particular learners. For what? Go na le dikolo mo metseng. So we are going to sit down as the Department of Education to check how best can we approach this particular issue of rationalization, because to be honest with you, it is not working for us. So we must review that particular policy in making sure that we go back to basics. Bana abatsene dikolo ko ba nanteng, because once ba tsene dikolo ko ba nanteng, in terms of distance e ba travel mo go yone ga e tle go tshwana le e ba traveling to townships, then re tle go leka go get rid of this scholar transport. And the most difficult part about scholar transport is that the function ya teng is being located or being placed in another department. So as the MEC of the Department of Education, I don't have control over it. Because once there are any shortages or any complaints, like for example, you look at the conditions such as Sarona. Those conditions really are not roadworthy. So it's something it exposes these learners that are very innocent to unnecessary accidents. That is why it disrupts learning, teaching and learning, because once any challenge with scholar transport, and then I don't have control over it. So one of the resolutions is that myself as the MEC of Department of Education and MEC of COSATMA, which is Honorable Lehare, together with MEC wa Finance, which is Mewarona Me Khosho, we must sit down and strategize around that to check how best can we resolve this particular matter of scholar transport. I've just received a SMS and a message from a councillor from JB Marks, where he indicated it has been weeks Banaba, that particular district, and most of them, they are matriculants. So how do you expect me as the MEC of Education to perform in terms of the results, whereas some challenges influence perform accordingly? So I think based on these discussions, as government, at least the element of accountability. Lena is the MEC, haki work as scholar transport, beki work authority over this scholar transport. So I'm confident that based on our discussions between the three MECs, because definitely we're going to take the discussion up to our ministers to check how best can we resolve this particular matter of scholar transport, because really it's one of the challenges every day it's a problem.
The MEC also acknowledged that a lot still need to be done to regain the trust that is broken between government and communities. She promised to do everything within her powers through her department to contribute in restoring the lost trust.
I know that as government we have failed our communities. I know that our mandate as the Department of Education is to provide quality education to our learners. But we have seen in most schools, as a department, we are still struggling in terms of providing proper infrastructure for our learners. And I've seen in different schools, as I'm speaking to you, we are still challenged with issues of pit toilets, whereby somewhere, somehow, they are contributing to the environment. I know that we are confronted with challenges of safety for both our learners and our educators in different schools. But based on the khotla le re dutseng mo go lone, ra ipuela as puso ya bokone bophirima to say that we are definitely going to stick to all the resolutions that were taken, because all the resolutions, if they can be implemented, I'm telling you, all the challenges in the past, they will be resolved, because we have picked up most of the time we take resolutions, but I want proper monitoring and evaluation to check whether those particular resolutions are being implemented kanako. And then as the Department of Education, we are going to continue. And we're going to strengthen the relationship between us as the department and councillors, because whether we like it or not, and also as SGBs, because they play a very vital role in making sure that so by strengthening that particular relationship, definitely we are going to get rid of all the challenges and then we are going to provide better education to all learners of our province.
There were other important resolutions about other departments, municipalities and other state-owned entities in the province. Tomorrow, Premier Mape will then deliver his State of the Province address, which will be informed by the outcomes of this Lekgotla.